It's Sunday, the 16th of July, and this is your Round 18 review. Hello, everybody. My name is Ben Reeve. Welcome back to the channel for another episode of The Hoop Show. I'm joined by my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, and the Grind Myers of podcasting, Mr. Paul James. Welcome back, Paul. You're on a winning streak, mate.
The Lionel Messi of podcasting.
The Lionel Messi of podcasting. We'll go with Grind Myers, Lionel Messi. But yes, you are the Lionel Messi or Grind Myers of podcasting.
We missed the boat by like hours when it came to that one. We put up our 100th game thank you and like celebration of Grind, and then all of a sudden the Waitley stuff really starts to bubble over, and that's it.
And we did hear back from Grind. He liked it. He was very happy with it. So
you heard from him as well. Cool.
I did. Yes, he responded. I think I posted it on Instagram, and he wrote a little comment in there thanking everyone. So if you're watching Grind, thank you very much, and well played on the weekend. You might get a vote, possibly. We'll get to that a little bit later. There was we have put the poll out, and he is absolutely streeting it in. Well, Lionel Messi is streeting it in the Twitter poll. He's about 10% ahead. I haven't checked it in the last little while, but
I'll have to give it a bit of a squeeze.
You have a bit of a squeeze while I'm doing the intro. But look, the Cats, mate, we're flying. We're absolutely flying. We haven't lost in a month. We beat the Bombers by 77 points. Pretty much won the game in the first quarter, really. I think the final scores were Cats 18 goals, 14 and 122 to the Bombers 7 goals, 345. Pretty miserable effort from them.
Yeah, pretty lackluster. Also, just brought up the votes, and I mean, you commented on it like an hour after you'd even put the poll up. It's one of the closest of the year. This is at that point the most split that I have seen the votes all year. Yeah. Lionel is out in front with 33.2% of the vote, followed by Tom Atkins with 27.2, Max Holmes with 21.5, and Tom Hawkins with 18.2. But that is certainly the most split vote that I reckon I've seen all year.
Well, I think I mentioned last week on the show that my wife just loves Tom Atkins, and she was really trying to get me to sway the Twitter voters. I said, I can't do that. No, Twitter has to vote the way Twitter wants to vote. It's all about purity, as you said. Mate, but what are your first thoughts on the game? Did you get to go to it? I assume you probably couldn't, but I couldn't either.
Nighttime games are really problematic. So there is, I think we've got, pending whatever happens with the round 24. 2024 game, our final game of the season against the Dogs. Pending whatever happens with that, we've only got one daytime game left, and I am looking to buy tickets tomorrow for Geelong and Freo.
Oh, okay.
Down at the Cattery. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, it is a bit of a nightmare trying to get tickets for Geelong games at the moment, but I've got Dad on the case while I'm working. He's back in the country these days, having returned from work, and he's trying to hook myself, wife, kids, all up. So
nice.
We'll see how it all goes, but it'll be good to get along to a daytime game. But no, couldn't make this one.
Yep. And if anyone's really desperate, the best thing to do is just log on to Ticketmaster or Ticketek, whatever it is, at 9 o'clock most mornings. I think it's most mornings anyway. They usually release a few extra tickets for people that can't go or just don't want to deal with the weather or whatever it may be. So you might not get a bunch of 4 seats or something like that, but if you want a couple of seats together, you can usually find it. Generally, at this point in time, there's single seats left. We'll try and get along as well. We'll have the kids. The kids will probably want to come, but that's the challenge. It may just be that we've got to play favourites a little bit with the kids. Who wants to go the most? Who's going to do the most housework? And then we'll take you along to the Freo game. But not going. Clearly, I'm not going to the Brisbane game up at the Gabba. I would have loved to have got on a plane to do that, but not possible. So we'll watch that as a twilight game. And we'll do a little bit of a preview towards the end of the show. But let's talk about the game. Grind Myers, 100 games, and didn't he start off the game nicely, Paul?
Oh, white hot with the Messi celebration too when he landed the goal. So it was good that he'd kind of been across what was going on and leaned into it as well.
He did. He loved it.
You got the opportunity. When circumstances just work out perfectly for you like that, you gotta lean in and poke a bit of fun. So
embrace it. Unlike Jared Waitley, who didn't really want to embrace it. Push back.
Look, to be fair, I don't blame him because he didn't say it in the first place.
True.
Wrong attribute. Whereas for Grind, it could only be a good thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think hindsight's a wonderful thing, but sometimes you can feel that these things a little bit by. I don't know. He didn't say it. Well, I didn't hear him say it anyway. But it was good for Grind to get the first goal. The crowd seemed to go off and really getting into it. I saw a few Argentine flags. I think our mate Danders, Rach Danderfield, had the flag going. G'day, Rach, if you're watching. That was quite funny. Apparently she was having a good old time as well. from all reports, enjoying herself. It was very merry, sticking it up a few.
She was getting on the turf, was she? I haven't actually seen anything beyond the Argentinian.
All in good fun, I think. So, yes, all in good fun. Brian, well done, mate. You played really well. I thought you played really well. I didn't actually catch, I'll be honest, I didn't catch the first quarter because we had a family birthday party and we were hosting and I'm doing the roast and all that sort of stuff. And it sort of came on and then I had to take my daughter to her friend's place. So I'm at that age, viewers, where I'm driving teenage kids around everywhere. Doing all these other things. I managed to tune in in the second quarter, so I did miss the Grind Myers goal, and I was devastated about that because I was building up this whole week to be all about Grind, and then I missed the opening goal. I couldn't believe it. I was getting messages from everywhere. You were messaging me, Paul, about things as well. The Ollie. I think I missed the Ollie.
The Ollie Henry spin.
I was driving back from
shelf.
Armstrong Creek at that point. Yeah. Top shelf. But look, I thought it was great.
You won't see a better blind turn than that all season.
No, it was like Marley and Pickett, wasn't it, in the grand final? Maybe not the same stage.
That's a great parallel, actually. Yeah, the circumstances certainly a little bit different, but right up there in terms of the quality.
It was fantastic. So good on him. He keeps bobbing up. He just you think he's going to drop off and have a bad patch, but Ollie's just doing enough to keep his spot in the side.
My man, Ollie Henry.
Yeah, your man. You've got a few men. You've got Mitch Nevitt as well, who keeps playing well in the VFL, but unfortunately just out of the mix at the moment.
And that's fair enough at this point of the season. Yeah. I think it's O'Sheen, for example, playing as the sub. I think, unfortunately, his days are probably a little bit numbered, not because he's done anything wrong, but because the cavalry is coming back. And I guess we're diving into the discussion of the game already. Mm-hmm. We were talking last week about the minutes played and the percentage of game time. And again, a similar sort of story. Now, obviously, Danger last week just played 52% of the game and wasn't subbed off. Yep. Was subbed off this week and played 56. But if I bring up some of the other numbers, and I filtered this before, let me quickly bring it up again. We've got, obviously O'Sheen 25, that's fine. Paddy 56, Blitzarve 64%, Gary Rowan 65, but he had some injury kind of little concerns at different points. Tom Atkins did what he did today with 70%, on the weekend with 70%, mm-hmm. Reece Stanley 71, Tanner Bruin 72, Mitch Duncan 75, Mark O'Connor 79. Like there's still a lot of players that are...
Yeah. I'll pick one out there.
And certainly more senior ones that are getting the time to rest.
Tanner Bruin was the one that stood out to me when I looked at that earlier because he's normally around that 60% sort of game time, 65%. So he's jumped up his workload a little bit, and that maybe to me seems like a reflection of how well he's going and how much faith. I don't know if it's just bring him in slowly kind of thing, but he's always been down the bottom of time on ground sort of stuff. But I am liking this new approach to load management. Last year it was all about resting a player for the whole game, and now it seems to be more about, well, maybe it's been forced, but we've just had to rest players in the second half, and thankfully we've played well enough in first quarters. I think we're a pretty awesome first quarter side this year, and it's kind of set us up a little bit to do some of that stuff. So it's helped. Blitzarve's a couple of weeks in a row, and Danger, 2 out of 3 weeks or something like that as well, having some good rest in games.
Not that Blitz needs the rest. He's just unstoppable. He's a machine.
He's an absolute beast, and I reckon he's probably one of the best players. The most valuable player for us in the comp. One of the best, most valuable. You take him out of the team. He hasn't missed a game this year, thankfully, but I would worry about how we go because he just does so many different things. He's the Swiss Army knife of the Geelong Football Club. I just love him.
The only thing he doesn't do is play a permanent forward role, and yet he still pops up and kicks a goal or two a game.
He's not the best ruckman. He's not the best defender. He's not the best forward. He's just the best at everything. He's just the best utility player. I don't know if that's what he's kind of traditional, I guess you'd call him, but he's just great. And he probably wasn't, for me, he wasn't the best on the ground on the weekend, but his body of work over 17 rounds of footy. We're in 18th round this round, but he's just been terrific all year round. I can't say enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't speak highly enough about the bloke. What did you think about Jezza? Talk to me about Jezza's first game. Paul Bugger copped a hit or two.
Yeah, he's still in the wars. He just can't get a good run at it. Thankfully, no lasting injuries of any sort. He was favouring a knee there after one collision that ultimately just split his head open. But there was nothing to that in the end. He's just, and I've been talking about this for a while. He's looking for touch. Like he just can't quite get. And that goal that he got towards the end of the game might be just the first little. It still wasn't as clean as what we expected.
Yeah, he didn't connect that well with it, really.
But net result was the net result. And I think, I tweeted out during, the third quarter or something like that, they just need to, especially given the circumstance of the game, just go searching for him a bit. Just give him some shots on goal. Just
Even just run around, get a touch on it. He was. I mean,
but it's fine. It's first game back. He got nearly 20 disposals, got a goal, kicked 1 goal 3. So he had and 1 out on the full. So he had his opportunities, which is kind of the starting point, and he'll start connecting those balls soon enough, I'm sure.
And the ones that he missed one. I think he kicked one at a right angle. 20 rows back.
Pretty funny.
I don't know what happened there. Another couple of shots though. They actually went really close to being goals. He wasn't that far off it, but oh my god,
he'll find his touch pretty soon. Hopefully this week against the Lions.
He will. It just seemed to be though that they cursed him when everyone started talking about being the best player in the comp. That all of a sudden things just took a little dip by his standards, I should say. He's an absolute gun by anyone else's standards, but
No, you're right. He dipped just a little bit, and then the injuries came, and all of a sudden,
And we've just got another 6 rounds to go before we can just get him back to peak Jezza is what we like.
Yeah.
That first quarter was pretty special. A bit like last week against North, albeit maybe a bit stronger competition. Well, you would have thought so.
Really?
Well, you would have thought so coming into this one.
You've been talking about this mob all year.
I know. Well, yeah, they're pretty.
Them both times.
North are rubbish, and we knew we were going to smash North, but I thought we'd probably be a little bit up against the Bombers, and I didn't expect a 77-point win. I thought they'd really.
Didn't I see in the preview doc that you tipped them by 66 points?
No, that was the week before. I think
was that an old carryover number.
Maybe it was. Yeah. No, I had. I think in my tweet on the morning of it's game day tweet, I had the Cats by 33 points. So maybe it's my old show notes that
It might be some old notes.
Edited that. Yes. So yes. But yeah, like that quarter, as I said, I missed most of it. I was listening to it on the radio for the most part. I just couldn't believe it. I just looked over at my door. I'm like, what is going on? I'm trying not to accelerate too much, staying the speed limit. But I did want to get back home and get back in front of the telly and see.
Just ran a few reds.
I was on the ring road, so it wasn't too bad. The old ring road there in Geelong. Yeah, look, Hawkins is another one that probably shone out for me. He loves the Bombers, and I feel bad for Brandon Zirk Thatcher. Poor bucker.
Yeah,
he can't.
He'll get there. Like he's a young body still, but he's dealing with a man mountain. So
you can't do.
And the delivery to him was excellent.
Oh, that's the thing. I mean, it was pretty much on his chest. And he's leading. Look, Tommy Hawkins, take nothing away from him. His leading patterns were magnificent. And he was reading the flight of the ball really well. He just loves playing against the Bombers. It just seems to click, and our mids just really work well against the Bombers, and they just find ways to get it to him. I thought they were a little bit too Hawkins focused at one point, but for whatever reason, it was still working, and I just couldn't believe him. Like, clearly you've got a Hawkins problem here. You might want to figure out a way to double team him or something like that. But they were just letting it go, and I was like, okay, are you trying to teach this Zirk Thatcher a lesson? Is he like getting a one-on-one on how to play big hulking forwards or something like that? And I think help him out a little bit. But no, Hawkins was doing it all, and it seemed like the Bombers were just happy to let him do it.
The problem is that if you pull Ridley away from Cameron to go and assist, then all of a sudden you've got a Jeremy Cameron problem, or an Ollie Henry problem, or a Gary Rowan problem, and it snowballs. Someone's going to get off the leash.
It is easy from the couch, isn't it, Paul? Or in the grandstands to say, I would have done that. They should have done this, but. That's why we're not coaching. That's all right. Who else did you like? I thought Holmesy was really good. What do you think about his game? Anyone else stand out for you?
Yeah, Holmesy was great. Career best disposals for that game. I think his best, in a post-game interview, he was talking about his best was 26, and they had to point out to him that he got 33 that night. So
smashed it.
Well and truly his best game in terms of the disposal count. I think there's been games where he's been more effective and more kind of assertive and dominant, but getting your hands on the ball is still super important as a starting point.
A lot of 1-2s. I noticed. I have to go watch a bit of the tape again, but he was getting a lot of the 1-2 stuff, which is good. I mean, that's maybe he's just a sign.
Well, that's his strength too. He's got that speed. So get that first handball, get the one floated back while he's kind of taken a few strides and already broken away from his opponent. Like it's definitely exploiting the way he can play best. But he was fantastic.
And they're probably using him as best as the best way as well. Maybe they weren't quite sure how to use Holmesy to start with, but they're starting to figure out, okay, this is the way to play. This is the way to play with him.
Yeah. I was pretty happy with Reece Stanley actually. Now, obviously, the competition wasn't fierce for him. He had a bit of an easy kill with Nick Bryan doing a solid job, but of course they were without Phillips and then their number one ruckman in Draper. So he certainly had a soft kill there, but I guess in the similar sort of sense what I was talking about with Cameron, like it was good that he got a game like that where he could just beat up on a ruckman, get his tail up. There was one particular centre clearance where he laced it out from tapped down, somehow managed to get the ball back, and then several long ruckman-like strides and then laced it straight out onto Hawkins.
It was like Hawkins had this shocked look on his face, like, what? What happened there? What happened? I'm like, he's the best field kick in the AFL at the moment. Move over, Grind Myers. It was glorious.
Who else really impressed? I think there was a lot of people that just kind of really did the job well. It was very much the team effort. Like Zach Guthrie, you couldn't get through him, but he didn't necessarily light it up because Essendon just looked horrific going forward anyway.
Yeah.
Jack Bowes, I want to shout out.
You love Jack Bowes. He's your man as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd argue that was perhaps his best game for the Cats as well so far. Got the game time, got his hand on the ball a lot, was really important in a similar-ish sort of 1-2 capacity that Max Holmes did, but a little more on the defensive end. He was kind of that link in the chain on the way out. I thought he was super, super important in kind of repelling a couple of times. So
Zach Guthrie was fantastic.
Hoping he stays in the team.
I love Zach's game. I thought he was terrific. I can't remember how many touches he had. He seemed to have a stack of it, but 25 or something like that.
Zach Guthrie, 24, yep.
Yeah, something like that. And probably one that doesn't get as much notice but I thought Mark O'Connor did a really good job on Zach Merritt. Kept him pretty quiet for most of the game.
Ruined his 200.
Yeah. So the old shark is back. The tagging Merritt.
Got to get himself ready for Lachie Neale next week.
Oh yeah, Lachie Neale. Do you reckon we get? Oh, maybe we can talk about. Well, I'll save it. I was going to ask you a question about Jed Beers, and I'll save that for a few more minutes because we're going to talk about the ins and out next week. But yeah, look, I thought Stanley was great. I thought Bowes was good as well, and I just thought, Mark O'Connor probably he's not going to show up on the stat sheet if you're just looking at stats and doing your 3-2-1s or something like that in your own head based on that. It's probably you got to do it by the eye test, and sometimes you got to do it by looking at what the opponents are doing as well. And so guys like your Koladashnis and even De Conning's barely sighted the ball really. I know he got a couple of touches early in the first quarter, but other than that, he didn't really see it for the whole game. But he did pretty well as well. I thought he was rock solid down back.
Yeah, to be fair, like all of those blokes kept someone like. I mean, you expect Jake Stringer even in a belting like that to kick a couple goals, do a couple brilliant things, but Jake Stringer touched the ball 8 times and was scoreless.
Yeah, that's right.
He kicked that one little goal off the ground that was a play on downfield call.
Yeah, look, I think sometimes you can get a little carried away when you have a win and you think, oh, everyone was perfect, everyone was fantastic, give them all 10 out of 10 votes. I actually didn't think anyone really lowered their colours last night. I thought everyone played quite well. Some played well above themselves, and others just did what you expect of them. And as you mentioned, Reece Stanley's just he's rubbing his hands together the last couple of weeks. North Melbourne drops Toddy Goldstein
out and Sherry in,
and then through suspension or injury. I think it was suspension, wasn't it?
Draper's injured.
Yeah,
Phillips
bit of both.
Suspended.
Yeah. So. And now he's got McInerney. Is it McInerney next week against Brisbane?
Yeah, it'd be McInerney, yeah.
Bit of a tougher challenge for Reece, but I think McInerney's...
Well, McInerney did just get obliterated by Max Gawn
on
Friday night.
He'll be keen to atone, as they say.
Could be that, yeah.
Look, it's been 6 straight against the Bombers, and there was a lot of chatter during the week. I don't know if it was just from the Bombers, but a lot of AFL people saying, why isn't this game at the MCG? How many times do they trot out this story every year when we would play one big-ish club? Do we call Essendon a big club these days? I don't know if we do. They weren't happy about coming down the highway, even though they said they were. It's like, oh no, we're fine with it. But a lot of Bomber supporters couldn't get a ticket. I can't get a ticket. I'm not whinging. I might just watch it on the telly. It's fine.
Yeah, I think the thing that's compounding the situation is that the stadium's not full, so we can't get members of Geelong, but also of the opposition in. So I can kind of understand up to a point, because otherwise they agree. Like clearly the Bombers had agreed to it for years. The Cats would play Carlton, they would play Essendon in Melbourne regardless. A bit like the Hawthorn game in Richmond, where it's let's ignore the home ground thing because we can get bigger crowds there. Well, Essendon and Carlton supporters. Here's the real simple thing.
Mm-hmm.
Get good,
yep.
And as a result, you'll get more you'll attract larger crowds, and Geelong will be not forced, but will feel compelled to go play at the G because it's going to get 80,000 people in instead of 60.
How good is it when we get? I don't think we had Hawthorn down our way this year, did we? But when we get Hawthorn, we still get big crowds against Hawthorn, even when they're really struggling. We still get probably 50,000 or so.
There's 15 years of drama there that kind of helps fuel that now. So.
I would love to play them at home in front of 40,000 people, and maybe we'll save 50 seats for them, like we do in that little
corner.
Windy sort of air exposed wind tunnel there in the corner. under the scoreboard. We'll keep that spot for 50 of them, and they can bring their loyal supporters. Everyone else has dropped off the bandwagon at the moment.
Oh, yeah. They've got no one left.
They're gone. They'll wait till they climb up the ladder and they'll be back again, annoying
Safest, Jeff.
Safest. All right, so a couple of we talked about a couple of stats already, but I'll just go through a couple more. So Max Holmes, as we said, 33 touches, 8 marks, 659 metres gained, really carries the ball. Loving his disposal at the moment by foot. Just seems so clean and seems to have a heaps of time. Tommy Atkins, 28 touches, 12 tackles and 9 clearances. 9 clearances. He was killing it.
Huge.
Absolutely massive. And Brian Myers, 26 touches, 8 inside 50s, 1 goal. I'm not sure whether he had 1 or 2 assists. I think the stats are a little bit confusing on that one. I'm hearing one goal assist. Other people are saying he had 2 goal assists. But
2 got recorded.
2 got recorded. Okay.
Yeah, 2 have been recorded.
So I'm hearing he's on track to break Jason Ackermanis' record for goal assists in a season. He may or may not get there. I mean, a lot of things have got to go
30. Right. I think it was 36 or 38. I mean, he's getting 2 a game. So at this point, he should be
well over it. Yeah,
he's well on track to be well over that. So
yeah, we've got to keep winning games, keep scoring at a reasonable clip. We're doing last couple of weeks. I think we've been over 120 points. So the scoring's good as long as we're scoring well and they don't dry up too much. We should be fine. And he seems to be getting.
We've got a few good opponents coming up, so he may not record the 2, the 3 a game he's been doing lately, but.
No, it'll be. I imagine it'll be a bit of an arm wrestle rather than a shootout against Brisbane. We'll wait and see on that one. For the Bombers, though, mate, did anyone stand out for you from the opposition? I mean, I kept thinking Darcy Parish will be trialling out for a Geelong jumper next year. He was okay, I suppose.
He was fine, but
fine's probably the word.
219 metres gained from 24 disposals. This is
handball.
It's kind of links with my Darcy Parish concern. He's a handballing machine, and that's fine. There's always a place for those sort of players.
Yep.
But those 8 kicks that he got, they need to be really effective, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're really nothing disposals. Like I touched on before, Nick Bryan was probably the one for me where he really hadn't earned the spot, but came in and did a pretty serviceable job.
Fair enough. Yep.
Gave it a red hot crack. Stanley definitely had the better of him, but gave it a red hot crack.
Yep.
But I really can't think of too many other winners for them, honestly.
No, I mean, yeah, they didn't really stand out at all. I mean, even when they got their touches,
Andy McGrath.
They didn't. Andy McGrath he had a bit of dash out of the back line. He probably caught the eye the most to me. Had mid-20s touches or something like that. Kicked a goal. No, he didn't kick a goal. But yeah, he's probably just the one that catches the eye the most and carries the ball quite a bit. So, Bombers fans, the club, they'd be pretty disappointed with that effort. I think they probably didn't expect to win the game. In their heart of hearts, probably didn't think they were going to win it, but definitely would have been a bit more competitive, I would have thought. Hopefully that's not coming off as too arrogant. There's not many teams that beat Geelong down in Geelong. It's just the way it is. Anything else about the game before we get into the wonderful world of Twitter? It's very positive at the moment.
No, not really. Just a great team effort for the most part.
Yep, agreed.
As you said, no one that necessarily got a 10 out of 10 sort of effort, though.
No.
One person I say got awfully close, and we'll deal with that with the votes. But no, it's just that really rounded team effort. There was no real chinks in the chain. I don't think there was anyone that necessarily played below themselves for the match. I'll double check some stats just to see if there's anyone that pops out as a result.
Yeah.
No, not really. It was really just opportunity that kind of cost. And you touched on the defenders like Sam de Koning. His numbers are poor, but he also didn't allow. It wasn't down there enough. So.
Yeah, it wasn't down there enough. So I'm not too worried about it. We had 36 more inside 50s. It was just down our end pretty much the whole game.
Game.
The defenders weren't seeing much of it really. All right, let's get into Twitter. All right, so the first one is from KC Runs. It says, does anyone else think that Tanner Bruin looks like Will Poulter? Now, if you're not sure who Will Poulter is, hopefully you know who Tanner Bruin is. Will Poulter was the guy. See, I can't remember. These Marvel fans.
William Jack Poulter is a British actor. He first gained recognition for his role as Eustace Scrubb in the fantasy adventure film The Chronicles of Narnia: The Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Yeah, that's true. He was the
in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
He was Adam in Guardians of the Galaxy, the golden guy. Anyway, I don't agree with you, KC Runs. I don't think he looks anything like him, but that's okay. That's okay. Grant Wilson said, and well done, Paul, by the way. 3 votes for your speed on the interweb there, getting the job done.
The dual screen thing
The
helps.
dual screen's working very well. Grant Wilson says, love watching their running, push forward at all costs game. Spectacular to watch. Yeah, we love it. We love that. We love that style of Geelong footy. It's what we want to see. It's the way footy should be played. It's great to watch. Fantastic. Yeah. Now, Andrew S. Cowell says, the first quarter. He said, that's it. That's the tweet. First quarter was absolutely champagne footy. What more can you say? And maybe we didn't really need to do much after that, to be fair, Andrew. We just did what we needed to do. And
to be fair, though, and we kind of touched on this a little bit last week. We were talking about Phoenix Foster having been on behind the play, and he was talking about how they were looking to turn the screws there. And I felt like we saw it with North for a while, and then they put the cue in the rack. And we're pretty happy to just coast, whereas that wasn't the case. They didn't go at that same ballistic speed, but they made sure they kept the foot on the throat. They didn't let up at all, and just continued to build that margin. Now, it was only inaccuracy in the second term that resulted in Essendon winning the quarter, and they did so by 2 points. I was happy with that more consistent application throughout the entire game and the unwillingness to let them back in, which is perhaps North was never going to win the game.
No,
but they let them back into it at points, and they got some of that junk time rubbish, and they didn't do that with Essendon.
No, well, the worst thing...
Essendon being a much better team than North Melbourne, of course.
Yeah, and the worst thing we did was just let Essendon get a couple of goals very, very late, last minute and a half of that second quarter, which was like, okay, consecutive goals. It would have looked...
Danger was screaming about it too. I think they showed the footage with him on the bench pointing out, the forwards to get back, do exactly what happened, and it still got through. So.
It's like, we've switched off. We're ready for our... sliced oranges. We're ready to go. Get off at half time. A few snakes. Just don't let Brendan Goddard anywhere near him. You'll tip him on the floor. Sarcastic Cow says, moo. No. Says, very good. And good mention of the Phoenix Foster on the behind the play. Nice little...
always good for a plug.
You're very good at that. We clicked. Everyone worked together and got some flow. Backed each other up to pressure them out of the game, forced Essendon to play our game. The young guys are starting to find their feet. Bruin and Atkins in the middle, smiley face. Ollie's jump at the ball and bows the next Duncan. Ollie is jumping at... He's flying through the... He's got springs in his shoes or something.
Jack's a good jumper too. It's just the nature of his role means that he doesn't get to fly it in the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, think about his mark against Richmond last year to win us the game.
Yeah, that's right.
Like he flew.
Yeah.
He took off. It's in both of them. It's just a matter of one has the license to do so. The other has to be a little bit more conservative.
So you heard it here first, everyone. Jack Bowes is going to take Mark of the Year very soon. Just be on someone's shoulders. And
Ollie Henry, you mean?
Ollie Henry, sorry. Mark of the Century. It's happening. We've got a few more rounds to see that happen. All right, Max Willian, I think it is, says, clear plan to ensure Stanley dominated the ruck and we denied Bombers the corridor. Did they even have one chain through the centre for the whole game? Scores from turnover were off the Richter scale, and that pressure is what is needed to win finals. Thumbs up.
Summarise the game.
Well done. Perfect summary. I 100% agree. Well done. Now, Luke says, solid four-quarter effort, which was really pleasing. Holmes, Atkins, Hawkins were brilliant. Danger, Guthrie, Duncan and Messi were very solid. And if you're not familiar with Messi, we're talking about Brian Myers. Hopefully you haven't been hiding under a rock for the last week. Actually, there were lots of players.
At the beginning of the show.
We did. So if you watched the beginning of the show and you're still with us, you'd know exactly what we're talking about. Cross, he's given a cross, because he usually do ticks and crosses. Essendon supporters crying like babies about the Geelong trip. Yeah, we talked about that. And he didn't like Ben's feet. Now, I was jokingly said, I jokingly said if the Cats win, I will post, because I don't pics of my feet or feet pics, because apparently that's a thing. People pay for.
You've got to go to OnlyFans for shit like that.
I don't know who's paying for this stuff, but I'm hearing it's a thing.
There's some creeps out there.
Anyway, so you got a free dose of the hoops feet, or one half of the hoops feet. So there you go, bonus. That'll be the last time I think we'll see that. Couple more. Crocker says, great to see a more settled defence. Looks a lot more balanced. Jack Henry finding form. A lot of players starting to find some good form. Jez, the key to getting him back in form. Some very good signs building nicely. Agree. Well said. I think we're just going to get Jezza back, and I think a lot of players starting to... There's that clicking action sort of happening at the moment, isn't there? You're starting to see it. I think the pieces are starting to fall into place. Paul has frozen on me, but I'll push forward anyway, and hopefully Paul comes back. Otherwise, you've got a sort of a smiling Paul's face for the next little bit, and maybe my voice throughout the whole little bit. I think he might have dropped out. Internet has just dropped out. Be back in a second. We'll see how we go with that. I'll continue on with some tweets anyway. He could be back, and it's just ruined my setup. Bear with me, everyone, while I just fix this. There you go. You're back, Paul.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I was just covering while you were gone there, mate. So it's all fine. I'll go through 1 to 8. We'll keep the ball rolling. Who have I got? Who haven't I read out before? Commander in Chief. I don't think I've read yours out before. Didn't give the Bombers a chance to find their feet. You've got my feet though, mate. Didn't give the Bombers a chance to find their feet.
Oh yeah, I missed the back end of the feet.
You didn't miss much.
Go back.
Didn't give the Bombers a chance to find their feet, and it was all over by quarter time. It was all over by quarter time. Thank you, Commander-in-Chief. So thank you for everyone. If I didn't get through to your tweets this week, I will try again next week. Abuse me in the comments if you feel like I've done you hard by, done you dirty the last couple of weeks. I haven't read them out, but trying to keep the show moving. I'll get through about 5 or 6 or 7 most weeks if I can. So we'll see how we go. But I am glad you're back, Paul, because the show doesn't exist without you, mate. So I'm glad that I didn't have to carry the can the rest of the way without you.
Yeah, I hope I didn't blow up the video for the formatting of the video.
No, I think it's fine.
You
did worry me a little bit there. It sort of stuffed it up a bit. So for any aspiring content creators, we're using a free software called OBS, and sometimes you got to play around with it a little bit. But anyway, all right, shall we get into some votes, Mr. James?
Absolutely.
Would you like to go first? Because I think ours are a little similar.
We share the same 3 players.
The
order of each player differs.
Okay.
So I mentioned one player played a pretty damn near close to a 10 out of 10 game, and that is Tommy Atkins. And you obviously cited the stats before, from the clearances to the disposal count to the tackle count. He just delivered in every one of those kind of key, or each of his KPIs, the things that he would get measured on, he delivered in spades. Yep. So I just can't question a performance like that. And we were saying before the show that I don't know if I've necessarily been harsh on him, but I've fancied the output of other players. Even when he's played a very good game, I fancied the output of other players ahead of him.
Yep.
But I can't argue with what he put together this game. I thought he was clearly our best of field, and the Hoop Show voting. They all think Gryan is the best of field, and there might be a little bit of extra mayo put on that due to the occasion.
I couldn't resist, Paul. I could not resist having Lionel Messi as one of the.
You would have been
one of the options there
if you didn't put him in there. So,
so it may have swayed the vote a little bit. I think
so.
I think it would have been a much tighter thing if people were maybe voting with their heads, and maybe
they donkey voted for Gryan. And
maybe, but that's
Gryan. It was still put it in a fantastic
Gryan, you
game.
played really, really well, I thought you were great anyway, but I didn't give.
Would have loved to have been able to give you the 3 votes in the milestone game.
No, played very well in our best players, that's for sure.
Yeah,
your 2 votes. Who'd you go to 2 votes?
Big T-Bone Hawkins.
T-Bone.
Couldn't be beaten in the air. I mean, not that he gets in the air overly much, but couldn't be beaten on the lead. The disposal, or the kicking for goal was a bit wonky in the first half. I think 1 goal 3, but then he just turned it all around in the second, and just couldn't. They couldn't
from everywhere.
They just couldn't stop him, and he was kicking them from anywhere. So, fantastic output, and does love an Essendon game. He hasn't kicked anything less than 4 goals in each of his last 6 games now, I think, against the Bombers, with obviously a bag of 8, 6, and now 5.
Yep.
So
now
loves an Essendon game.
He sure does. The socials hate it. They get up and about when you don't vote for their favourite players. Who have you given the 1 vote to, and who would you consider unlucky not to get a vote?
I mean, Gryan's the unlucky one. Max Holmes with his PB in that area, but also, look, we differ in the votes, and we'll talk through. Well, you gave the same man the 3 in yours, but
still my thumb.
I just felt like he certainly got a PB there, and he was certainly fantastic. Did feel like he got a little bit of junk time stuff that kind of inflated those numbers. He wasn't hunting for free and cheap ones, but he certainly kind of exploded in some of those periods where Essendon were at their absolute worst throughout the game, or those late points in some of the quarters. It might have inflated that a little bit. Still a fantastic result for him. Played a really great game, but not quite the 3 for me. So
yep, fair enough.
Max Holmes, great game though.
Yeah, so as you said, Max, I gave the 3 votes to Max Holmes. I thought his best game for the club. I did feel really bad. A bloke kicks 5 goals, and I can't get him in the 3 votes. I mean, what do you got to do to get 3 votes these days? The forwards are always hard done by, aren't they? But no, I couldn't go past Max Holmes. I thought not only it wasn't just the possession counts. I thought, as I mentioned, I think he used it really, really well. He seems to be getting smarter and smarter, and it just seems like his teammates. He's becoming a little bit more predictable to his teammates now. He'd be nudging. He hasn't got to 50 games yet, has he? I don't think. No,
Max Holmes, no,
not quite yet. But he's getting to that mark where he's definitely a regular. It's just that he's becoming a real part of that the mix now. So I gave the 2 votes to Tommy Atkins. Yes, I didn't give the Hawkins the 2 either. And I know you did, but Tommy Atkins, I thought he was fantastic. So I'm sure you won't be too upset with me giving him the 2.
No.
Tommy Hawkins, I had to squeeze him in for the 1. I think I wanted to get Blitzarves in there as well, and there's probably a few others. I know a lot of people had heaps of love for Zach Guthrie and what he was doing as well, and it was and even Close, he was great at times. He was he was everywhere. There's a bunch of players, so you could raffle it really, but you've got to pick 3. So I'm probably happy that Tom Atkins, as you mentioned, hasn't had the best start to the year, but the last couple of weeks he's been in our best players. He may not have been in everyone's 3, 2, and 1s, but I think for most people he'd be in their best players, 5 or 6 on the ground. So really happy with the way he's pulling it all together.
45 games for Max Holmes so far.
Ooh, getting close.
That was his 45th.
Getting very close. So did you agree with us on these votes? What did you have any difference of opinion? Did we miss anyone? Have we done someone really dirty? Let us know in the comments if you can, and we'll talk about it. Now, next week, Paul. I don't think neither of us are going to the game, but it's a big one. It's a bloody big one. 3rd versus 5th as it sits right now. I would have loved to have got there. I'm feeling confident enough to say, it's at the Gabba on Saturday twilight. I'm confident enough to say, Paul, I think we're going to win this one.
Yeah, so am I.
You're confident too.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
That's a bad sign, everyone. So clearly that means Brisbane wins. We're too confident.
No, I'm not saying we're going to win by Essendon-like margins, but I think we'll get a 3 to 4 goal win.
I think what's convincing me is that Brisbane looked good was it Friday night? I think they were playing against Melbourne. 4 goals up, a few minutes to go, and then bang, Melbourne wins by a point. I'm not sold on Brisbane much at all. I'm not sold on.
They played half a game.
Yeah,
Melbourne blew them away in the first.
Yeah,
Melbourne blew them away in the last. They piled them on in the second and third quarters, and honestly, I don't think their forward line's all that great.
No.
Joe Danaher's had a great season statistically, but I don't think he's really done it against top tier teams.
No.
Charlie Cameron. Yeah, Charlie Cameron.
Yeah.
Again, great numbers, but I don't think he's flying. I don't rate Eric Hipwood in the slightest.
No.
Dunkley, I think, will be back, which will be big for them. But
yeah, that'll be helpful for them to get him back in.
Yeah, I'm just not about what they're putting on yet. Now they obviously had the home ground advantage, and that does sway things towards them a little bit. But no, I think the Cats have got their tails up and playing the right brand of footy. So I think we got them.
And our recent history would say we've got the wood over them. We've won 5 out of the last 6, so we're doing reasonably well. The last time we played was that prelim final. I can't remember how 70 odd points or something like that.
Yeah, smacked them.
Absolutely smacked them. So doesn't mean that's going to happen again. I think it'll be a very close game. But yeah, confident that we'll get the win. I think the Cats are just starting to put it all together now, and I'm not convinced on Brisbane. I'm just not convinced. No. They could surprise us, and I think they'll shore up themselves for a top 3 spot. Maybe if Port, they had a loss on the weekend, and we'll come to that. But if Port, the wheels fall off a little bit, maybe there's a sniff of a top 2. I still think it's Collingwood, Port, really, the top 2 spots on the grid.
Yeah.
But
they've got enough breathing room, both teams.
Yeah, I think it's likely that we'll get Tui back in the team. I can't imagine they're going to manage him over a couple of weeks there. When I saw that he was managed, I thought, yeah, they've told him to get on the beers after that game. He
got on the beers and needed the week off.
Exactly. I thought he's enjoying this too much, and have the week off, mate. So he's likely to come back. Buse has been out for a little while now, and I would like to have Buse back in the side with Charlie Cameron running around.
Yeah, I think he's the exact that's the exact matchup that needs to happen for us. So
the hard part of the equation is who do you drop? Like, I think Mullen's probably the obvious one, and then it gets really hard after that. I think my gut's telling me that they're probably going to take a cautious approach with Gary Rowan. Look, maybe it was nothing, but he came off a few times there, and he looked a bit sore. And
it could be Buse for Mullen and Tui for Rowan.
Yeah, so I don't know. That may not be the case. There may even be a third one that we haven't thought of. Maybe it's a Duncan. And do they want to get Radagalia back in as well? Like they keep talking about trying to make him fit with the mix, but not really seeing it.
It's not working.
No, not working. So I don't know. That's not likely to be the 2 in and the 2 out. It's always different from what we predict, and you just don't know what's happening after games and during the week and what they've got ideas for matchups and so forth. But it is Tom Atkins' 100th game.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's another milestone game, and we love Tom Atkins. We love Brian Myers because he's been on the show. So we'll get you on the show too, Tom. Brian, if you're watching, we want Tom Atkins on the show. He's one of our favourites. So get in his ear if you can because we love the bloke.
You could get.
But I'm so happy for him. Another premiership player. You can imagine that he's going to play 200 games for the club if his body holds up. He's a bit older than some of the other 100 gamers, but
delayed start with his VFL pathway.
Yeah, but I imagine he's an absolute pro. He does all the right things, so you think he should be fine to get to 200 there, and hopefully it's all in the blue and white, and we get to keep him for that whole time. It's always sad. You always have to farewell some players sometimes, but that's just the way it goes. Mate, it's time to have a little bit of a walk around the grounds and see some of the other results. So it was an interesting round of footy. I don't know if you do the footy tipping or how your tips went. I struggled.
I haven't totaled up actually my tips for the round, but I felt like things weren't. I guess it's all a matter of perspective. I think with some of the results that have transpired, I think I'm largely pretty happy with how the round went. But it wasn't. Yeah, it was still a bit up and down at different points. We're about to go through them anyway. So
you're clearly we know you're not a Bulldog supporter, but they're not too happy with how the round went. They lost the Swans on Thursday night by a couple of points, so their shot at a top 4 chance might be blown possibly now. They did have a good shot at there. Another goal could have put the pressure on Melbourne a little bit more, but the Swans are still in the finals hunt. Can you believe it? Do you give the Swans a chance still?
No, they're done.
Yeah, I think they're done. I think they're just teasing their supporters. And Buddy Franklin is absolutely done as a player. He can't bend over. He's no good. I just wish he'd do the right thing and have a farewell game because at this point I think he's just holding back some other kid from playing.
Yeah, and Amati or Logan McDonald.
It's just not working. I think they're better off without him. The Demons, they somehow, as we said, some way beat the Lions by a point. Came back from 4 goals down and got ahead. So the MCG hoodoo for the Brisbane Lions continues. Will they ever win? That's why I can't pick them as Premier, Paul. I can't do it. I won't do it.
They don't know how to win over here. They just don't know how to win, really.
No, they're useless. The Pies...
let's not get too carried away. We've got to
play. We've got to play them. Actually,
useless is a very strong word.
We love you. We love you and no harm. No, the Pies got over the Dockers by 46 points. I think it's another one like Sydney season over for the Dockers. That's really fallen over for them. They looked like they were a bit of a threat at one stage, but it's not happening this year. The Suns, this was the big one for me, and one that I thought, they've just sacked Stewie Jew. Surely it's the coach bounce back or whatever it's called. When you sack a coach, the team wins straight away pretty much.
I tipped them.
Yeah, I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. I think I tipped the Saints. But wouldn't the Saints supporters be dirty at the moment?
They're done. You can put a line through them. They're done.
Oh, you're done for the finals? No,
Ross even suggested it. Yeah.
We can't win it. It's like, okay, whatever. I don't think that's were his words.
He wasn't far off the mark, though.
No. I'd be very disappointed if I'm secured. And I would feel very much hard done by that they had to sack the coach the week that we're playing the Gold Coast Suns. That's a bit unfortunate. The Blues is this the biggest upset of the round? The Blues defeating the Power,
sure.
13, the backers dozen they were on, and 50 points smashing. I think the Power just decided to have a week off.
They've not looked as good lately. Like they got lucky to get over the line with the Bombers. They haven't been their same dominant selves in the last probably 3 weeks, or give or take, which does we're playing them again soon. We've got to have the rematch down in Geelong as well.
Yep.
So I'm pretty keen on having another crack at them because I don't think they'll be. Well, Geelong's certainly significantly improved, and the Power's not firing on all cylinders right now. So who knows? There could be a little bit of a slide ahead for them. They'll still finish top 2 because they banked the wins. They've built a bit of a buffer between themselves and the D's in Brisbane. But they're not flying anymore.
And one loss doesn't mean it's curtains for them. It just, they'll probably reset. Maybe good teams sometimes need a loss and they'll go away and like every good team does and fix some things up. But it's pretty new to them. So, and they were looking quite pretty at the top there, 13 wins at one point. So all of a sudden, you get forgotten about it. And then Collingwood become absolute raging premiership favourites again. It's funny how 7 days difference makes a huge difference. So that's that. Another upset, I don't know if you call this one an upset, but the Giants went over to South Australia and they knocked off the Crows by a couple of goals.
Low-key good, the Giants.
5 in a row for the Giants. They're the most informed team in the competition at the moment.
They might have the best streak actually now.
They do. They definitely do. They are absolutely smashing it. And then the whole weekend just built up to today, didn't it? The 2 blockbuster games just scheduled for the Sunday afternoon. The Hawks versus the Kangaroos. The absolute, you couldn't miss this one. And then to finishing off the round, the Tigers and the Eagles. Wasn't it just 2 classics? Double-header blockbuster on a Sunday afternoon. Fantastic. The Hawks got the job done, smashed the Kangaroos. They are ready to put an end to the season. 15 straight losses, and the Tigers got over the Eagles by, 38 points.
Bad luck for Oscar. The injuries. Yes. The injuries for the Eagles continue, but this time Oscar Allen has been by far and away their best player all season, leading their. Having a decent crack at the Coleman for a while there.
Yep.
Looks like he might have broken his arm or something like that. So
it's a shame. It's a real shame. They just haven't had any luck. Hopefully, they get their players back in time for a good pre-season at least anyway, and they can maybe get back to winning 8 or 9.
What happens to Nick Nat?
He's done. I'm pretty sure he's done. I would have loved him to maybe think about a change of clubs, but he's a West Australian, so he was never probably leaving. I would have loved to have seen him down at Geelong. He would have been a good fit, but
he was taking enough hangers over us. It'd be nice if you could fit through.
He was the one West Coast player that always troubled us, but unfortunately, he's a good bloke. He's good, loyal to his team. So unfortunately, looks like it's how it's going to end for him. Sadly, he's an absolute great, and I think he missed out on that premiership, didn't he, from memory?
He did miss out on the premiership.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's amazing. You remember draft night 10 or 12 years ago, whatever it was, and you think, and all of a sudden he's retiring. It goes quickly. These AFL careers, you got to make the most of it because, Max Holmes knows all about that. You get a bit unlucky and you lose your shot at a premiership, and it doesn't come around again. So hopefully
for Max it does.
Hopefully for Max it does, and hopefully it's with us and he doesn't go somewhere else. A bit of talk.
There's a bit of chat that people are showing some interest.
It's probably a slow news day. They got to find some.
Bit things. Like we're showing interest in Bailey Sniff.
Yeah, Bailey. Who?
Bailey Sniff.
Bailey Sniff. Yeah. Okay. We'll see what happens with that one. Watch this space over the next.
He won't move until next year. No, whatever happens, he won't move until next year.
I think we'll just a bit like the Jeremy Cameron thing. We'll just we'll stay in contact and we'll see what happens over the next few weeks, months, years, so forth.
Just clean up the drug problem before you come over, mate.
Yeah. Anyway, a couple of quick mentions before we close out the show, Paul. 80,000 members for the Catters. Well done. If you're a Geelong member, if you're not, it doesn't matter. Support the club in any way you can or you're able to. But it is a pretty good achievement for the club to get to 80,000 members. Well done there. And sadly, the VFL team had another loss. They've fallen off a little bit there. So, Phoenix, I don't know if Phoenix played today. I didn't see him down the back line. I watched a bit of the game.
I'm not too sure, actually. I'll see if I can quickly find some stats. But
so the boys, they were in it up to their eyeballs until the last, I think that one was the last kick of the game. And then, just sadly, we were at a 3-point game. And then I think Bombers might have got the last goal of the game and it was all over. So, unfortunately, didn't win it at home too. So, that was a bit of a shame on that one. Now, I do want to finish the show off, Paul. And have a bit of a whinge. And it's a silly whinge, but I'm sick, and I'm happy that they're making a little bit of coin on the side, these Cats players, but I am sick of seeing your Jeremy Camerons, your Paddy Dangerfields, Joel Selwood, and now Tom Stewart is the latest, to be featuring in various advertisements, which are incredibly cringeworthy.
Right, okay.
Oh, the Joel Selwood one, the Google Pixel one, where he's
Or the
that's great,
plane.
that's great. And
We can
now,
go right back with Joel though with his little
the
airplane one.
Joel.
Across the
We'll get him on the Wombat Gully one soon. It'll be no. We had the Tom Stewart was the latest one. I think he's promoting Gatorade, and I think they had a bit of footage of him and a few other players at the club training, and he's just running out in front like Captain America charging.
Oh, I haven't seen this, and I think I might be glad.
Oh, you'll see it. Don't worry. Just Google Gatorade and watch it after the show. And then you've got the Jezza, who apparently lives in an inner city apartment somewhere in Melbourne, and he's going to cash converters and all that.
Oh, the Cashies one. Yeah, I remember the Cashies one.
Yeah, I think the Danger one's probably the best, and a bit of Sammy Morford pops up as well.
It's Sammy that makes the ad.
Yeah, the Amy ad.
Danger rocking the beard like that's a bit gross. And,
what does he say? Pick up or come on? I don't know what he.
Anyway. Yeah, pick up.
Oh God, Cats players. I'm glad that you're getting a bit of extra cash. But it's hard, it's painful. Anyway, I think that'll do, mate. I think we're done for another show. We're about right on 50 minutes. So thank you if you've still been watching. Get your head red. I don't know why you are. No, but thank you. Appreciate it. Seriously. Hopefully we'll keep this winning streak going. Paul is going to stay with us as long as we keep winning, I'm sure. You're our lucky charm at the moment, Paul. So we've got
we'll go that path. That's fine. That's even better. Not jumping on the bandwagon at all. Big shout out also just to Joel. Yes. I mean, like he's not had enough going over the years. Joel Selwood's got an autobiography coming out pretty soon.
Oh, I didn't know about that one. Oh,
yeah, I only heard about it today myself. So
okay,
it's right near the end. I know there's like media sorts that have got their hands on it and are reading it and that sort of thing. So I think it's pretty close to launching. So there might be.
What's the name of the book? Do we know?
Let me double check. I did hear the name, but it's just not biography.
And Reggie's Zach Tui's putting a book out as well, and has been asking for people for titles.
Called All In.
All In, okay. Yeah. That's not very inspiring. Sorry, Joel.
Publication date, the 2nd of August.
Okay. All right. Another one for the bookshelf. I don't know if you can see my bookshelf behind me.
You can buy it now from Amazon for half price.
Wow. Okay.
Down from $50 to $25 for a hardcover.
Nice. All right.
I'm going to slap that order down.
The old hardcover. Sniff those pages, people. I don't mind a hardcover book every now and then, but no, usually on the e-readers. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as we always say at the end of the show, stay Geelong strong and go Cats. Take care, everyone. See you later.
Orders in.
Very good. See ya.